Welcome to What If We Watched, the show where we ask ourselves, what if we watched this? I'm your
Yeah,
host, Chris,
I'm another host who's called Will.
and today we're asking ourselves, what if we watched Into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, let's go watch this. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, I watched
Was it
it.
yesterday?
Yeah, I watched it yesterday.
Okay. Yeah. Got a synopsis here. This says Peter Parker's the only Spider-Man, except there are other Spider-Men out there in the multiverse known as the Spider-Verse. Whoa. After down on his luck, teenager Miles Morales gets bitten by a radioactive spider. He sees Spider-Man stop the Kingpin's dimension-crossing super collider, only to be killed by the Kingpin afterwards. Seeing his hero die before him, Miles vows to avenge the Wallcrawler and destroy the collider once and for all. Unknown to Morales, there's another Peter Parker from another dimension, as well as other Spider people. That's from Johnny on IMDb. Cheers, Johnny, if you're watching this, which you probably aren't. Still, that's the movie. What did we think?
Now, I thought it was amazing.
Yep, so did I. This is probably one of my favorite movies. I chose this. This was the first on our list because it's a movie I can watch any time of the day, any day of the week, any week of the year. Um, it's so much fun and there's so much good stuff about it. I don't want to list it all because I'd probably end up boring you. But yeah, what did you like about it then?
The jokes were very funny, like how they would have uh, Spider-Man swinging past in Mars Morales dimension. They had Coca-Cola, and then
Yeah,
in the other Peter Parker's dimension uh, Coca-Cola.
yeah.
That wasn't.
Another weird
I
thing I
liked how
spotted.
it's.
A weird thing I spotted was that almost all the tech in Mars's universe was Sony, and I know that's because Sony put out the movie, but it's I'm not sure everyone's gonna buy everything from Sony, but I guess that's what happened.
I mean, Sony does that in a lot of their movies, like the Amazing Spider-Man. They did it with that.
The Emoji Movie. There's another thing that people were very surprised by this movie when it came out because they were thinking, it's going to be like the Emoji Movie. That was the last thing Sony put out as an animation, and then this came out, and people were absolutely blown away. I was amazed when I saw this. I had very low expectations, but yeah, I have lots of luck with going into movies with low expectations. The Rise of Skywalker was one of them.
No, I thought I watched this film way after it came out for the first time. So I already knew it was going to be good because everyone else was saying how great this movie was.
I thought it's not as much of the kids movie as I thought it would be because there's literally this whole sequence where just after Miles has been bitten by the spider, he's like, oh, this is my puberty. I've got my trousers are shrank and my hands are sticky, and that's not very family friendly PG clean, I don't think. But I guess I needed something for the older ones to laugh at, which I did. It was funny, like we said. The jokes always landed. Another thing I thought, Miles's cape that he has on when he's when they're breaking into Alchemax. I would have liked to see him keep that on. That would have been quite funny.
As Peter
Um,
Parker said, Spider-Man doesn't do capes.
no capes.
But then when they're in the shed, uh, Miles sees that
Oh yeah, yeah.
there is a cape suit, which I thought was very funny.
I'm just gonna look up. Was the spider shed, the spider cave, whatever it is, was that in the comics? Because I'm sure it wasn't, but I just want to just want to look it up. The spider. No, that's just. Oh, there's just pictures of tarantulas. That was useless. What did you think of the soundtrack?
I thought the soundtrack was very good. I like that they like incorporated the soundtrack into jokes because like when Peter is teaching Miles how to unstick,
Oh yeah,
Miles sings along to a Post Malone song.
yeah. I got to admit, I'm not a big fan of that song. I don't really get it. But the certainly the score that I'll probably put in the background of this audio track we're making is absolutely incredible. People talking about it's basically called orchestral hip hop, which is basically the two pretty big genres of music put together, which don't necessarily think would work, but they do, and it makes a very, very interesting listen.
Yeah.
Let me ask.
I like that Miles's uncle when he found out that Miles was Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, and that scene was amazing.
I like how he didn't kill him, but when he died, he had like a very sad goodbye to Miles. And I also like how it didn't go into Miles' dad thinking that Spider-Man killed his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
I like how it didn't do that.
Yeah, that would have just had me anxious for the whole movie. Let me ask. I might kill you for some of the stuff you say. What didn't you like? There is one thing I didn't like, which I hate to say because I really do love this movie, but there's one thing that really made me quite annoyed.
I didn't like the character development.
Oh man, that's one of my favorite things from the movie, to be honest.
Well, Miles is the only. Well, no, the character development that is given to characters is amazing, but it's just that Miles is probably Miles and Gwen are probably the only ones who get development.
I think Peter B. Parker from the where he's fat.
Yeah.
He only really gets development when Miles is Spider-Man in the Collider.
Yeah, which when he's got the black suit.
To be honest, is the only thing they could have done. But the one thing I didn't like, to be honest, is when after Miles's uncle died and they were back in his in Miles's bedroom or wherever it was.
Yeah.
And they were all saying, "Oh, for me it was my uncle and it was my best friend." Blah blah blah. That scene was really good. And then immediately after that, they all left Miles. Like they were being really supportive, and then literally 10 seconds later, they're all jumping out the window.
Why did they just tie him up to a chair? He can't exactly go after them.
They were supportive of him, and then the next moment they're going out the window. You can't do this, Miles. You're not ready. Which I guess is kind of warranted, but they could have said it in a nicer way instead of just jumping out the window.
Bearing in mind that in all superhero origin stories, the characters are weak until they get stronger.
Yeah, that's generally what happens. You're usually weak until you get stronger.
Immediately after they go out the window, when they're swimming away from Miles's like room, they latch onto they like web swim, but they don't latch onto anything. It's like class.
That's just the case of Spider-Man movies. That just happens from time to time. There's a scene I remember in Spider-Man Homecoming. He comes out onto this field and there's nothing for him to swing on, and then he just runs across the field because that's the only thing he can do. Who is your favorite of the Spider people?
Ooh, I'm quite mixed on this.
Who's your favorite?
Part of me wants to say Miles just because I loved the fact that he was. I love the fact that he was weak. I love the fact that like no one cared about him, and then after, and then like he got stronger, and then everyone and then like everyone loved him and called him, and he was like the new, and now he's like the new Spider-Man, which I love.
That scene at the end when he came back from webbing up Kingpin, everyone was so happy to see him, and that was You remember
That was wholesome.
remember in Raimi Spider-Man where they're chucking stuff at the Green Goblin, like, you messed with one of us, you messed with all of us.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that.
Yeah, and a
My favorite.
part of me wants to say the anime Spider-Man.
Oh well, that's well. I got to say, we got a lot of anime on this list that we're gonna watch.
I'm
Got
quite excited for that.
Silent Voice, Your Name, some seasons of popular animes, which I might like, I might not. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
My favorite of the Spider People was Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. I love how they made fun of they were making fun of his really dark stuff. He said okay, I love how they made fun of Spider-Man Noir's character, because they make him really fascinated with a Rubik's cube.
Yeah, and he also, one thing I didn't spot before I spotted yesterday was that when they were in Aunt May's house, they were Spider-Man Noir was sitting on the sofa with a Rubik's cube, trying to guess what color it was, when it was all the different colors, and the pig was just like, no, it's not that color. And then also a thing I saw in the the final scene where Miles was saying, oh, you could be Spider-Man. It was showing what all the other guys were doing at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Spider-Man Noir had solved the Rubik's Cube. Which I thought was interesting, as he lives in black and white. But yeah, he's Spider-Man. He can do anything. Also, he fights Nazis.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna nitpick for a second here. He said that he's from 1932 and he's fighting Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay.
They still existed, but I don't know why they're in America, but I guess they are.
And also the ending where he's on his bed and then the portal opens and it's like, Miles, you got a minute?
Oh, I don't want to think of what happened. It's probably nothing, but it's probably something.
I was confused because I was like, how did the collider was destroyed? So how was there a portal?
I'm sure it'll all be explained in the next one.
Yeah.
October 7th, 2022. I cannot wait, honestly. Did you watch the post-credits scene?
There was a post-credit scene?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't watch that.
It had Spider-Man 2099 preparing. He said, okay, which Earth am I going to? And then they sent him to this Earth called Earth 67, which is basically transported into the 1967 Spider-Man cartoon. And then, the meme of the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that the first time I watched Into the Spider-Verse.
All right, yeah. So he's probably going to be in the next one. Miguel O'Hara, that's Spider-Man of the future.
I'm pretty sure that there are going to be a lot more Spider-Men in this.
Which villain would you like to see in the next one? Because literally there was a Sinister Six in this, and they pretty much all got knocked out. Which villain would you like to see?
Oh, probably Venom. Because
I was going to say Venom.
I'd like to see how Venom would be in different different. Because in Peter B. Parker's universe, he's probably a regular Venom. But what would Eddie Brock be like?
One thing I would.
Miles's.
I think they would, if they did Venom, they'd probably bring up Agent Venom as well. He'd probably be on the good guy side. And Miles's roommate as well. I spotted in the last scene where Miles said, "Oh yeah, I met my roommate for the first time."
Yeah.
When they did a fist bump, it said best friends, so he'll probably have a role in the second one. Hopefully, that would be interesting because I'm pretty sure he didn't speak in this movie.
Yeah, he passed out and then woke up and saw a bunch of webs and then went back to bed. That's all he did.
He was an interesting character. I'd like to see him in the next one. I also want to say that Dr. Octopus in this one, Olivia Octavius, I want to see her. I want to see more of her. She was really interesting in this.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, I think when she was saying, "Oh, yeah, the glitching's gonna tear your body apart," or whatever she was saying, and I'd love to see it happen. That was a sort of a mini plot twist in itself, because you saw her earlier in the movie in Miles's classroom, and you could see Dr. Olivia O, but Miles was covering up her surname, which I think was really clever to do. And then she came up, and she was Doc Ock, which was insane. And she was a really interesting villain as well. Well, not interesting. She wasn't interesting, but she was just really cool to watch. And then she got hit by a truck. Okay. Okay. So we've gone through what we liked, what we didn't like. What do you want to change? What would you change about this movie?
I'd change it so that that's quite a tough one. Do you know what you change?
This isn't an urgent thing for me, but I'd probably have less spider people. I'd take out Penny Parker, because she didn't do much. The scene where the robot got destroyed, that was quite sad. But other than that, she didn't really do much, and she wasn't a spider person necessarily. She just had a robot, she was inside a robot. Wasn't it controlled by a spider or something, which was kind of strange? But I guess that's the Spider-Verse. I maybe would have had it so it was just Miles, Peter, and Gwen. That could have been interesting, because I think the relationship, if it was just those three, in Gwen's universe, her friend Peter died.
Yeah.
I think if it was just Miles, Peter, and Gwen, you could have explored the relationship. Gwen trying to not like Peter B. Parker that much, because he's literally the alternate version of her best friend who died. And so if she had some attachment to him, and then they have to go back to their separate universes, it would have been not like a love triangle, but like everyone's got a mutual respect and reason to love the other one, which I think would have been really nice to explore. But then also the relationship between Spider-Man Noir, Penny Parker, and Spider-Ham, that was also very nice to see in the final fight in the Collider.
I wouldn't. Okay, so I wouldn't take out any spider people, because because I liked their characters, and I'd probably just want to see them I'd want to see them do more in the sequel if they are in it.
I hope they'll be in it instead of them changing the other. So you have the 6 spider people, and then one thing I fear they might do is just change the less relevant 3 every movie, which is probably what's going to end up happening to keep it fresh. But I'd like to see, maybe if they do a trilogy or a series, I think they should, all of the spider people should come together, like the ones from this movie and the next movie. Even just a trilogy, have a bunch in this one, a bunch in the next one, then they're all together in the third one. That would be really nice to see.
Yeah. Although okay, so this isn't like what I'd change, but I would really like it if in the sequel, or like in another movie, they probably wouldn't do this in the sequel, but I would love it if that. I would absolutely love it if they had a bunch of Spider-Men versus a bunch of Sinister Sixes.
That would be incredible. They could do just for an Endgame related gag. They could do a portal scene where all the spider people from the different universes come. On your left, Miles. Endgame, the Rise of Skywalker. They can join the gang.
And just Spider-Man assemble.
Yeah. Spider people, let's roll. something like that. That would be quite. I think that would be quite funny, even not as a serious thing, just as a joke to fall in with the rest of the movies that are going to parody that now.
Yeah.
That would be funny to see. So how long has this been? Maybe like 5 minutes. What do you think a score out of 10, maybe?
I would give it an 8.5 out of 10.
I would give it a 9 because I've said this to you when we were on our own little personal Zooms, is that I have 2 movies that I absolutely love, but both of them have things I don't like, and I'm still waiting to discover that movie that just does everything right. And to be honest, Spider-Verse is very close to that, which is why I'm giving it a 9. There's just a few little nitpicks and things I would have changed, but if that perfect movie ever comes along, it could be on this list. We never know. It could be one of the ones we do. It could be an anime you suggest. God forbid. I really hope it isn't, but it could be.
The one thing that's keeping Spider-Verse from being higher than an 8.5 is definitely the fact that like I said before, only Miles and Gwen get like character development. If in a sequel the other characters also get some, then I probably would change my score on this one. But right now it is an 8.5.
Okay. I when you suggested that the characters from this one come back, I think it'd be really interesting to see one of them, maybe Spider-Ham or Penny Parker. They come back and they're like really dark and emo. That would be really funny. So Penny Parker, she's lost a robot, or she makes a new one, or she becomes a cyborg. Just weird Spider-Verse things like that would be really funny as well. Yeah. So you're saying what, 8.5?
Yeah.
I'm saying 9 out of 10. What's next on the list? Let me have a look. And the viewers, if there are any, I doubt it. What's next on the list?
It's Your Name.
Your Name. Ah, okay. So that's an anime. Is that the one about the bully guy?
No.
What's it about?
Okay.
We can get a bit of a tease for next week.
It's these 2 people, and they're like switching bodies every other day.
Oh, that sounds cool. Okay, I'm kind of looking forward to that.
And they like kind of, and then they have to figure out why they're doing this. And
okay.
But like the animation itself is all hand drawn. It's not computers or anything.
It's all hand drawn.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so next week, what if we watched Your Name?
Yeah. Okay then. So I gave it 8.5. You gave it a 9.
Yeah.
That gives Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse a 17.5 out of 20.
Nice. That's a cool way of doing things. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you're out there, there's one person surfing the internet. Okay. All right. Nice work. Hello and welcome to What If We Watch, the show where we ask ourselves, what if we watch this? Today we're asking, what if we watched Your Name? Man, what a movie.
Yeah, this was a movie, definitely.
This is the first anime I've seen, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but we'll get into details soon enough.
Got a synopsis here, written by Funimation, which does a lot of the English voiceovers for anime.
Oh, right. Okay.
2 strangers find themselves linked in a bizarre way. When a connection forms, will distance be the only thing to keep them apart?
Wow.
Okay.
This film was a very interesting concept.
Okay.
Execution, I think we'll talk about.
This may be biased, but I'm just going to say right now, I think this is one of my favorite films ever.
It was good, but I have one big problem, which I'll get into later on.
I do have problems. Okay, so what did you like about it?
First of all, the concept of 2 people who switch bodies every other day is just really, really interesting. It's like something out of 80s movies, Groundhog Day, those kind of films, just a really ingenious idea. And I also like within that how they used to leave messages for each other
Yeah.
on each other's phones. I think that's probably a realistic way of, if this happened in real life, how things would unfold if this happened to two people. Which I really liked the concept. And yeah, the first half of the movie which dealt with that was very interesting. I couldn't tear my eyes away from the screen, to be honest. It was very nice to watch.
Yeah. For me, it was Act 2 and 3. By the way, this is to spoil the movie in case anyone.
Yeah, spoilers, by the way. We forgot to say that in the last one.
Yeah. But for me, the second and third act really made this film amazing.
Ooh. I'll disagree with that, to be honest.
I did enjoy when they were switching bodies, but I think once they stopped and like Taki started trying to find the town, I think that's when the film really went up to like a masterpiece for me.
Oh, that really boils my blood, honestly. That's when they learned about the comet strike, spoilers again, that was when the movie went downhill, because it was this very interesting simple, essentially romance story, and then there's no logical explanation as to why they're switching bodies. All we know is that it's happening, and it's probably a good thing. It's a very interesting thing, like I said earlier. But then as the comet strikes, it becomes a race against time to stop something that shouldn't really have been stopped. And I know in the end, it wasn't it? Because it was like 5 years later at the end of it, and everyone was alive, and because there was. Oh, and then, but literally the last two acts, well, the main chunk of the film was dedicated to a bunch of randos plus Mitsu trying to stop this comet strike, and it just wasn't enjoyable anymore. I wanted to see how different things unfolded whilst they're switching bodies. That's why I wanted to watch, and I didn't get that.
I am. I don't know. I feel like the first act is like mediocre in a sense.
Oh no!
But then the second and third act, I just love I love the second and third act. Okay. I don't know if you agree with this, but I think the best thing about this movie is the soundtrack.
The soundtrack was good, it did pull all the right strings.
In my opinion, this soundtrack is the best thing about this movie.
I would say it was good, but I would say that I couldn't tell the difference between one track and another. It all sounded the same. It was sort of playing the theme of the movie over and over again with no other real content. Whereas Into the Spider-Verse had different themes, different stuff conveyed within the music. But this one was just the same piece sort of repeated, which I didn't have a problem with because it was a good piece, but it wasn't that diverse. So it was good. I can see where we're coming from. It was a lovely thing to listen to.
At the start of the film, when the two characters say a breathtaking view, and then this piece of music plays, and that just made me so happy.
I didn't know that movies had anime openings. I thought it would just be like a normal movie, and then it had this full-on opening title sequence that spoiled the movie, because it showed it when the title card came up. There was the picture of her watching the comets split into two, and I don't know. It was good.
I love the characters in this, because so when it was when they were switching bodies, I thought that was really funny, because they even said that they couldn't stand each other, and then yes, because they're doing like really weird stuff inside each other's bodies. So like,
Oh man.
Mitsuha
Oh.
was completely ruining Taki's life at his job.
Uh, why was she masturbating every morning? Why? Even when she was in her own body. Even when she was in her own body.
Was she? Oh no.
But when Taki was in her body, he was doing that stuff which a guy would do.
Yeah,
And then
obviously.
she's back to her own body and she's still doing it.
She was in his body where she had
Yeah.
and then like she was, and then like I don't know. Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird as well.
That was and they had to show it every single time it happened.
Yeah,
the sister comes in.
Okay, yeah, I found.
You sure do like your own boobies? She said. Oh God, it was just awful.
Yeah,
I really didn't like that.
Okay, so.
I have a feeling that's present in lots of anime. Just so much. Okay. Just hentai.
My biggest problem with this film is the opening scene.
I can't remember what the part where she passes her ribbon to him or something.
No, the part where where the movie like just starts and we see like Mitsuha waking up.
I can't remember that, but explain.
Okay, that was the one thing that I hated that scene.
I can't remember what happened. You have to enlighten me.
She basically. Yeah, so it's the whole thing about her, doing the thing that they always show her doing when she wakes up.
Yeah.
And then she gets undressed.
Oh right, that part.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like for anyone else who's like trying to get into this, I feel like that would be like a massive turn off for anyone who wants to watch the film.
How old is she supposed to be in this?
Yeah, she's supposed to be like 16 or 17.
Oh, they're teetering on the edge there a little bit.
I know that was weird. I hated it. I feel like if anyone else watched it, then they probably just turn it off at that point. But I already knew that would be like a brilliant film after that. Even when I first watched it, like about a year ago, I knew because like so many people were saying how this is a brilliant film. So like, okay, if I get past this, I can appreciate the film. So yeah, and yeah, I enjoyed everything that happened after that. Also, I found the whole. That was like one of the main reasons why I didn't like Act 1.
What? Because of the first opening?
No.
10-second scene.
Because they did that throughout Act 1.
Yeah, you have to sit through it because if you skip it, you just end up because it doesn't last long, but it just happens so frequently.
Okay, what do you think about what do you think about the reveal that Mitsuha was living like 2 or 3 years before Taki was?
I was confused at first, but then it's fine. It was I didn't see it coming, so I guess it worked. I'd say Mitsu's friend Teshi. If you've seen Pokemon, he reminds me of Brock a little bit. And her other friend, I didn't care for at all. I didn't care if she died in that explosion at the broadcasting place. I really didn't care about her. But her other friend was good character.
I like that he was like a crazy conspiracy theorist.
yeah, that was interesting. They needed every movie needs someone like that. It just no movie should have to go without a conspiracy theorist.
What about when they like finally meet each other? Like not like right at the end.
That was underwhelming.
No, not like right at the end, but when like Taki
when they're in different times,
Taki goes to the shrine, and then Mitsuha wakes up in his body, and then they meet each other on like the cliff.
I was underwhelmed, and I don't know why I put it as the thumbnail.
I love that scene. I loved that scene so much.
I wish they were living in the same time though, because it was it should have lasted longer, and they were just talking about nothing. That this movie was good for one act, and then it was not so good.
Oh my god!
It was still
I-
better. It's better than some stuff
No, I put
that
this
exists,
as
like Food Fight.
I
It's
don't.
better than Food Fight, but only that.
I put this as my third favorite film of all time.
It was good, but it's not going to be on my favorite
Okay,
films
no.
list.
The second and third act is just amazing. Okay. Also, the visuals. Okay, I'm gonna retract my statement of the soundtrack being the best thing about this movie. The visuals were the best. I just remembered the visuals, and it was all hand drawn.
Yeah, no, that's what
That
I
was
was so
amazing.
surprised. This movie's almost 2 hours long, and it's all hand drawn. It's just incredible.
It's just like,
and they had to draw her squishing her stuff
yeah.
around in the mornings. Mom, it's for the movie. It's for the movie.
I don't like that they put that in there.
I don't understand why. I don't like it, but I need to know why. It's just out of context. She just.
I mean, yeah.
I didn't understand that it was because she thought she was dreaming.
I guess you could.
She's just doing it as her daily routine.
I guess you could have it as like. I guess you could have it for like one scene as like a joke.
Yeah,
but, like,
they thought they were going to do that.
They kept on doing it.
First time I was like, oh, that's funny. He sure is a
and
teenage boy. Then they did it again.
And they only
and
they only show.
they keep on doing it.
I like the joke where Mitsuha is in Taki's body and she's like, I gotta go pee, and then she doesn't know how to pee.
They did that in Jumanji as well. It's girls in boys' bodies is just an entertaining thing to watch.
Yeah.
I love how we spent the majority of this review talking about how she's touching her breast every morning. That's the content of the movie.
That doesn't happen often.
Yes, it does.
I mean like in movies like this. Movies in your like sad movies. Not
it
like
better
that.
not happen in the silent voice. Oh my god.
No, well, they make one joke.
What, in that movie?
Yes, they make one joke about it, and that's it. And it's just, and they immediately.
It's a legal requirement when you're making anime. You need at least one joke.
There are jokes like that in other movies.
I suppose, but then not as much as in this.
No,
this went over the line.
Okay, this is like an exception. Like they don't. There aren't that many anime films that do that.
Yeah, but there are. If you look in the right place, Samuel L. Jackson, then you'll find what you need.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah. If you look at that, then. But like.
Then you're weird.
Yeah, but like that's like the norm. You've got.
I'm gonna look at reviews of this movie on IMDb just to see what other people thought.
No, I looked at reviews and they're all and people love this movie, and I definitely.
You said that some people hate it because they say it's so overrated.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's overrated. It is incredible. It is groundbreaking how this is all hand drawn, and it feels not like an anime movie. To me, it just feels like a movie. That might be because it's the English dub, and you can't. If you dub something live action, you can tell that it's dubbed. This I couldn't tell because you can't move the character's mouth that distinctly. But it just felt like a movie rather than an anime movie. If you understand what I mean, it feels like cinema. Yeah. And I know this is totally unrelated, but when I said the word cinema, Marvel movies aren't cinema. We'll talk about that when we get to Infinity War and Endgame.
Okay then.
But I don't think they're cinema.
Okay.
They're good, but yeah, we'll talk about that at the end of the series.
I'm trying to think because like I love this movie so much, but I just forgotten why I love it.
Why did you love the whole race against time element of it that I hated?
No, because look,
they just left the first. They left the chunk of the movie that intrigued me. They left it in the dark.
No, they didn't leave it. They didn't leave it. They like no.
Yeah, but they stopped switching bodies, and that's what I like.
And that's like what Taki's trying to figure out why they're safe stopped. That's the
Yeah,
point
but
of the
I
second.
don't want to know why. I want to know what's happening. I don't know why it's
I know
happening.
if it was an entire movie of them just constantly switching, but that would be boring.
Yeah, but then you can see how Tucky's relationship with the waitress lady evolves, and then how Mitsu becomes more jealous. That would have been a much better plot line
Okay,
than
I
the comment stuck. We got to
I
stop the
can
comment.
okay. I can somewhat agree. I can somewhat agree with that. It kind of felt like there was going to be like a jealousy point, but then
Yeah, there was
wasn't.
for like 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and then they didn't. I was expecting them to become a couple, which would have been really nice, but they didn't, and then they just met at some random
Okay.
stairs at the
No.
end of the
No.
movie,
The
just like,
first
who are
time.
you?
The first time I watched that, I had the exact same problem. But now that I've rewatched it, I can see why they did that. Okay. So this film is complicated.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So they have forgotten about everything that happened before they switched up the times because the timeline had changed. So they didn't even know each other existed. But like they kind of
Okay,
they knew like subconsciously.
they had a feeling.
Yeah, they had a feeling. They like saw each other.
Ooh.
They saw and they like showed that they saw each other and were like surprised. So like they didn't know each other at all, but they also did.
I would like to
They also did
compare.
kind of.
I hope you accept this, but I would like to compare Mitsu and Tucky's relationship in this to the relationship of Rey and Ben Skywalker.
No. Okay,
I would,
Go on.
because they even when they didn't know each other in The Force Awakens, both of them could tell that they were linked and they were supposed to meet together. Their lightsaber duel at the end of Episode 7 was you could tell that they were linked even though they didn't know each other, and then that all comes to a climax in The Rise of Skywalker where they finally fight together. They finally realize how they feel about each other, and that's just I think that was very reminiscent of this movie. It's a link in the air between two people who barely know each other.
Okay. So this is like what I think is. This movie is like it's a 9 out of 10 movie with some 3 or 4 out of 10 scenes.
Out of 10, I reckon.
Would you view it the opposite? So like
No, I wouldn't give it a 3 or 4. That's very low. I gave Justice League. Bear in mind, Justice League, literally my least favorite movie, along with Attack of the Clones. I gave that a 5. So I'm going to give this, I would say, a 7, because the whole race against time thing knocks it down a bit. But the first act is 9 out of 10, which is why that evens it out to about 6 or 7.
I'd give the first act a 6.
Okay.
No, the second act, like it elevates it, and then the third act is okay. First act mediocre, second act really good, third act masterpiece in my opinion.
Oh well, I like to hear that, but I don't agree with it.
The
so
moment
no.
where I was well,
No.
the moment where I was like, this movie's amazing, is when the meteor crashes in the third act, and like there's no sound whatsoever. And like,
Yeah, that was really good actually.
And just the animation on that scene alone I loved that. That made this one of my favorite movies.
I was expecting as the meteor crash this big and loads of screams and stuff, but then they put it silent, which I think is
because then they
a little bit overused. A good thing to do.
Then they revealed later that everyone survived.
Yeah, because there was an evacuation going on.
Yeah,
but it was the evacuation that I didn't like. So if I had my way, they would have all died. Basically,
no. They lied about being a drill because Mitsuka convinced her dad to evacuate everyone.
Yeah, her dad was. Yeah, I didn't like her dad one bit.
No one did.
I don't think you're supposed to, but that means it's good. That means it worked.
Also,
I didn't like him.
Oh, also I liked you know when Mitsuha, the granny, and the sister were going to the shrine, And then the granny,
Yeah.
and then the nan looks at Mitsuha and goes, "You're dreaming." I
Yeah.
thought that was a really good scene as well.
Yeah, that was when the grandma told her that every woman in the family had gone through that same thing. I think that was really cool. And I think Mitsuha should have been the one to sort of make use out of it to bring her partner into the family rather than just leaving him and getting together with Teshi or whoever she's going to be with eventually.
I like that. Because they hinted that they would get together because at the beginning of the movie when like they're introducing the characters, Mitsuha's like going with Teshi and the other girl to their school, and then she's like,
Yeah,
"You would make a great couple," and then at the end, it like shows that they're getting married. I like that. It's like paying.
well.
I like it when movies do that. They like say, "Oh, that would be like for example, they say like, "Oh, you two would make a great couple," and they're like,
And then
"No
later
way."
they
And
make
then
a
later
great
they
couple.
I like it when movies do that.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, kind of. I like when movies foreshadow like those kinds of things.
I haven't really got much more to say about this movie. I've had my rant about how I hate the race against time element.
That was my favorite.
I haven't got much more to say, to be honest. But whatever points you bring up after this, I'll probably have something to respond.
Okay. I forgot why this is one of my favorite films of all time.
I think next time we should make notes while we're watching the movie, and then we've got stuff to talk about that we don't have to think of on the spot.
I mean, no, this film is visually it's a masterpiece.
Yes, I agree. It is really good.
Score-wise, it's really good.
Yeah.
Plot-wise, I think the plot is
plot-wise it's moderate strength.
Oh, for me the plot is fantastic.
Moderate strength, I would say.
I feel like this is the type of film where you get like really confused.
I did.
And then at the end, it's like, that's what happened.
By the third act, I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, I probably because this is like the third time I've watched the film. So like,
yeah, I think this does require multiple viewings. Should we talk about next week's what have we watched?
We are watching Gravity Falls season 1.
Season 1, yeah. I love this TV show. Really great. It might be a while before we post the next video though, because it's it's an entire season of a TV show, so it's going to take us more time to get through than a 2-hour movie. Yeah, okay. And then that's the last animated thing we're going to do. We do Boyhood. I think that you will if you enjoyed the first kind of act of this, then I think you will definitely love A Silent Voice. Okay, I'm hoping so. It has redemption in the Netflix synopsis, just the word redemption. So I'm intrigued. I love redemption. Because Your Name was not the film for me that went, oh yeah, this film is like pretty much flawless. No, that wasn't it for me. That film for me was Weathering with You, which we're not watching because it's not even out yet. Okay. What was the movie that was your turning point that made you love anime? Your Name. Say? It was Your Name. Really? Yeah. Well, this was the first anime that I ever watched. Well, I don't love anime, so I guess we're different in that way. I guess the first TV show I watched was Sword Art Online. Oh, is that the first one we're watching? Yeah, so one of the we are. Watching we're going to do Angel Beats, and we're going to do Sword Art Online, and we're going to do Attack on Titan. You will. I think you'll also really like Angel Beats, because it's like Angel Beats. I'm looking forward to because it's a short show, but the other stuff is like 25 episodes. Do you know what Angel Beats is about? It's Is
Like,
it a band or like
it's,
a
no, it's like
records
it's like
company?
you go to it's like a high school in purgatory.
What? I thought it was about music.
No, it's a high school in purgatory, and
Oh man.
there are
Okay.
there are kids there who are rebelling against basically God's messenger. They're like trying to kill. They're like trying
I
to.
don't understand what you mean, but
No, but
I'll just watch it and let it sink in.
this film mixes comedy and like emotional scenes perfectly.
Well, this film.
Oh no, I meant this show. The show it mixes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to that, even though it's not the next thing we're doing. We've still got a while until we got onto our next piece of anime. But yeah, it'll
Okay,
be
so
interesting.
score.
Should we wrap it up here?
What would you give the score again?
7 out of 10.
I give it 9.5. So that's like that gives
Okay.
your name a 16.5 out of 20.
Whoa.
So
that's almost that's
we gave it
we gave it a
a 17.5 Spider-Verse.
And this is 16.5. We're getting weaker, boys. We need something to strengthen these movies. We need 20 out of 20.
I feel like Gravity Falls season 1 could beat Spider-Verse.
It could.
Probably
it is very good.
Actually, maybe Gravity Falls season 2 would beat Spider-Verse.
They're both outstanding, but we're gonna do season 1 and 2 separately, yeah?
Yeah, doing season 1.
We're gonna
do season 1, then Boyhood, then season 2.
Yeah, we're gonna slap indie movie Richard Linklater's Boyhood in between the Gravity Falls seasons. Look it up; it's absolutely incredible. And we'll see you guys next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to What If We Watched, the show where we ask ourselves, what if we watched this? Today, we're asking ourselves, what if we watched Gravity Falls season 1?
Yeah. This is the Gideon episodes plus a little bit of filler, just to get the idea of the show. I have a synopsis here of that I wrote myself of season 1. This says twins Dipper and Mabel Pines are forced to stay with their Grunkle Stan over the summer in his boring hometown of Gravity Falls. However, through the discovery of a mysterious journal, the pair soon learn that all in the town is not as it seems. What did you think of this overall?
Okay, first of all, I am sick at the moment, so please do not.
Yeah, he's got
worry.
COVID, hasn't he? He's got COVID.
No, I thought. Let me just grab my notes here.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was.
Pop my notes up. Here we go.
I thought it was a great show.
Very nice.
It's not the best show I've ever seen.
What's the best show you've ever seen?
I don't know, but it's definitely it wasn't the best show I've ever seen, but it's a decent watch.
This might be my favorite TV show. That could be like Doctor Who or something. I don't know, but this is definitely up there, and it's one of the few TV shows that feels like one story, and it's not too long. It's not like an absolute drag to get through, even though each season is like 20 episodes. It's nice. It's nice to watch. One of my notes is that the supporting characters are fantastic. They're all very funny. Old Man McGucket is he's the guy who goes, "Oh, I'm Old Man McGucket," and they're like a newspaper reporter guy who's got like his secret birthmark, and there's a guy called Tyler, and he only has one line in the whole show. Get him. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Should we talk about? Do you want to talk about Dipper and Mabel? Do you want to talk about little Gideon? What do we want to do?
I thought that both Dipper and Mabel with some shows, like their whole dynamic, it works, and I don't know how it works, but like I know like a lot of shows try and do the same thing, but kind of fail. But I thought this show did like their whole like their differences like really well.
I think they basically just looked at what siblings are like in real life through the thick and thin or everything they go through in this show. At the end of the day, they're always there for each other. There's not a single episode ends where Dipper and Mabel don't like each other. By the end of an episode, each episode starts with them loving each other, and each episode ends with them loving each other, which I think is the way it should be. Siblings don't quarrel for that long. They are family, and I think that's what this show does really well. Mabel is she's desperate. She has a boyfriend obsession, doesn't she? But then another thing I noticed was that she won't go out with Lil Gideon, even though he is obsessed with her. Which what do you think about that? Because like she's desperate, and then this guy says, "Oh yeah, we're soulmates," and she's like, "No."
Well, I think I call that character growth.
Yeah, but it's in like the first 4 episodes. I guess she her first boyfriend was a pile of gnomes, so maybe that's something to do with it. I've got so many notes about
Also,
Lil Gideon. He's such an interesting character.
I found Mabel really annoying.
I find her annoying at times, but like
Most of the time,
her soul character is really good, really great.
Like sometimes, yeah, but sometimes I just can't stand her, and that happened a lot while I was watching this.
What was about her that you couldn't stand?
She was just like really high pitched, and like I just wanted her to shut up a lot of the time.
Shut up, Mabel. The second most important character in season 1, at least. Season 2, different story.
I thought Dip was very.
And all my Gideon notes. It's the opposite of the Mystery Shack. His Tento telepathy. They're both frauds, but they've got their own Seuss, and one of them is very well, they're both very popular, but Lil Gideon, like, I don't know. It's just he's the polar opposite of Grunkle Stan, even when he's not. What else is there to say? A question. Was Lil Gideon evil before he met Mabel or not?
Yes.
This might spark some debate. Why do you think he? I don't really. I'm not sure.
No, he wanted to find the journals.
Yeah, but how? He was just this little
Okay.
kid who was right. Like he used the journal for his tricks, but that was just him being a scammer. Then he met Mabel, and he became a total psychopath.
No, I don't think he became the psychopath because of Mabel. I think he became.
But he had journal 2, didn't he? And then he thought. But did he think that Dipper had number 1 all along, even though Dipper had number 3?
He didn't know. He didn't know there were 3 journals. He thought there were.
Yeah,
2.
he thought there were 2. Who did he think had number 1 though?
He thought that Grunkle Stan did, which he did actually.
Then why did he take over the Mystery Shack just so he could find it and also build a theme park?
Yeah.
Which would cost millions of dollars.
No, he took it over to find it, but then he tried to hide the fact that he was trying to find it by just saying, "Oh, I did it to make a theme park."
What I took it as was that he met Mabel and he was like, "Wow, she's real nice," and then Mabel's brother's like, "No," and then Gideon, I don't know. No, you're probably right. Well, you are right.
I think he tried to do it. No, I think at first he tried to find the, or he tried to find the journal by. He could have been pretending to be into Mabel.
Maybe it didn't seem like he was pretending though, because he still wants her more than anything. Even in the last episode of his of the Gideon trilogy, made up of season 1, episode 4, episode 19, and episode 20. It is a perfect trilogy. I will argue that. I'll probably make a separate video on why the 3 Lil Gideon episodes make a perfect trilogy. That would be interesting to talk about. In case guys watching out there didn't know, I love movie trilogies more than anything, more than my family, more than Chris. Small things I noticed. Seuss comes up with a ship name for Mabel and Gideon. What was it? Mabigeliod, which I don't know how he came up with that because neither of their names end in a D. But at one point, I just noted this down because it was just a prequel reference. Lil Gideon says, "You turned her against me," which is obviously Anakin's famous line when he's with Obi-Wan on Mustafar. Brilliant scene, by the way, which you hate the prequels for some reason.
Oh, no, I didn't actually notice that.
Well, he was not a similar character to Anakin Skywalker at all, but they had, a similar line or whatever. Seuss said that everyone in the Mystery Shack, their mutual hatred for Lil Gideon bonds them together, which is not true. They were friends even before Lil Gideon came along. In Dreamscaperers, obviously we meet Bill Cipher for the first time, who becomes much, much more prominent in the show. Turns out to be the main villain of the TV show.
I think that Bill Cipher is probably one of my favorite villains of all time.
He is a good villain, but I don't know why. He has no motivation. He's just like, oh, I hate Stan.
He thinks that Stan is Stanford is the brother.
Oh yes, of course. Yes, spoilers for season 2. Let's we'll talk more about that in the season 2 video.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're in Stan's mind, one of his memories, he's pitching his vacuum cleaner to a guy at the doorstep. Stan Vac, it sucks more than anything. Great slogan, just great. Already talked about how the Gideon episodes make a perfect trilogy. I've got one more thing to say after that, but what have you got to say?
I like the jokes. I wrote a couple down, and 2 of them I don't know what. I know there was Duck Detective. There was a Duck Detective joke.
Oh yes, yeah. I wrote down the fictional TV shows within Gravity Falls.
And then,
all the ones I could find.
There's a scene where like the Watson type figure says, "Wow, that's amazing," and Duck Detective is like, "Don't patronize me."
Yeah. Another TV show that's on the Gravity Falls TV station, whatever. Tiger Fist. There's a movie which I also saw Stan went to see when he was younger. Movie Grandpa the Kid, which is obviously a Western, but it's a funny title, play on words. The grappling hook is a sort of mini arc. Mabel basically at the end of season 1, episode 1, takes a grappling hook out of the box. Dipper takes his famous hat that he has, and then the grappling hook. The whole season, Dipper's just like, that's useless. Why would you need a grappling hook? And then
the last
obviously,
episode,
it saves their lives, which is just fantastic.
Okay.
What did you not like about this show? It's a perfect show.
I know we didn't watch it like these episodes, but I remember watching them and absolutely hating them. Was those episodes where Dipper's trying to impress Wendy?
Oh, is that the one? Is that the one where he brings the video game character to life?
Yeah, I hated those episodes. It was so.
That was filler at its finest.
Yeah, I hate.
The filler in this show, and also filler in shows like the Clone Wars and probably a lot of anime, is just tough to get through. But then once you get on the other side of the filler, you just are grateful.
There are shows where filler makes sense. This is not one of them. This is just. I hated the filler in this.
To be honest, I'm not that bothered about the filler in this show. It's sort of each episode is a little story, and it's just a bit of fun. It's nice way to spend 20 minutes most of the time. except when you get episodes like Boys Crazy, where she has to free the band from like prison or whatever. That was just strange, but you know, that's Gravity Falls. It's a strange show.
Also, I found some moments to be like really boring.
Which moments?
I don't remember. I just have it written down that I found some moments boring, but I don't remember what.
What did you think of Legend of the Gobblewonker? That was the second episode of the first filler one we watched.
My least favorite episode.
Did you like Headhunters more than that then?
Oh, what was that one? Was that episode?
That was the
3?
wax figures. I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
I think that one was
Headhunters. That had funny jokes.
Yeah.
The Legend of the Gobblewonker. That was just boring.
The Legend of the Gobblewonker was well, that's the first episode after like the pilot. So I guess they didn't know what direction they were going to go in, so they just did a spin on the Loch Ness monster, I guess. Should we do scores out of 10? This isn't going to be a long episode, probably. Do you want to do scores out of 10?
Wait. Was there anything that you didn't like about it?
I'd have to do a lot of thinking, to be honest. This show is, I love it.
It's like, for me, this is like the equivalent. This is like what you had with Your Name a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, right, okay. Some of it is great. Most of it is not great.
Okay, when it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's awful.
Right, okay. My complaint with this show would be lots of the characters are quite underutilized. There's so in season 2, not so much, but season 1, when we meet these characters the first time, they don't really do much. Like Seuss is a fantastic character, but most of the time he's just saying, "Hey Dipper, hey Mabel, you want to do a funny thing?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's do a funny thing." Like, that's most of his character, but in season 1, at least, he doesn't have much to do. But obviously in season 2, a few episodes in season 2, we get deeper into Seuss's character, that was one thing I liked about that, which we'll get onto in 2 weeks' time after Boyhood.
Yeah.
So what would you give this season out of 10?
I'd either give it a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
Ooh, that's rough. I would have said like an 8.5 or a 9. So are you saying 5 or 6 or 5.5?
Yeah, I'll go with 5.5.
Okay, I'm going to go with... to be honest, I'm going to say 9. So that gives it a 14.5 out of 20. That's not great, to be honest, for a show this good.
I don't know.
If that's your opinion, that's the score it gets, I suppose. 14.5 out of 20.
This is such a hot take. I don't know. I just thought this show was kind of... It was decent. It was decent, but also mediocre and sometimes awful.
I will say season 2 contains the best episode in the show and most of the best episodes in the show. And also the finale of season 2 is like it's 3 episodes long. So that's a lovely thing to get through.
I think I'd enjoy.
There's some little gems in season 2 as well. Obviously, as well as season 1, but I prefer season 2 definitely. I think I speak for most people when I say that.
Okay then.
Okay, so next week it's Boyhood, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a movie about a kid's life. They started filming it in the late 90s and finished filming it in like 2012 or something. So they filmed this kid's whole life. Obviously it's fictional, but it's like the story of this kid's life for like 15 years, and it's absolutely it is a masterpiece. It is very, very good, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's next week. I'm probably going to watch it in segments because it's like 3 hours long, but yeah.
We're also adding a new film onto our list.
Oh yes, a new film is going to be added onto the list, which we're actually going to watch together. I don't know if we'll do a reaction or whatever, but that's going to be interesting.
Okay. This film.
Would you tell us what movie it is?
It is my favourite movie of all time, Weathering with
Oh.
You.
Weathering with You in the Makoto Shinkai cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm looking forward to that as well, to be honest, because does that take after the first or second half of Your Name? Because that will determine if I like it or not.
The second half.
Ugh, okay,
No,
I
but
hate it already.
okay. No. It literally has like it doesn't reveal it in it doesn't reveal it in the movie, but in the book, which I've got and have read, it's
Yes.
revealed that I forgot that Taki and
Mitsu.
Mitsuha got married.
What? That's only in the book and not in the movie.
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay. Well, I'll still watch it. If it's your favorite movie, I'd definitely like to give that a watch. Is that it for this week?
Yeah.
Okay. Good job.
Very
We will
sure.
see you next time for The Hood of Boy.
Yeah. Welcome to What If We Watched, the show where we ask ourselves, what if we watched this? Today, we ask ourselves, what if we watched Gravity Falls Season 2?
I love this. Just a quick notice that we skipped Boyhood because it wasn't on Netflix. Yes, we are cheapskates, but we will do it if it arrives back on Netflix at some point. I don't know if it will. It's a good movie. I'd like to do it at some point, but we didn't do it now because, you know, we're kids. We can't afford to buy DVDs. Who do you think we are? All right, okay. What do we do here again? So, synopsis, of course, that's it.
Yeah.
Right, this is another one I wrote myself because I am productive. Right, okay, so Dipper and Mabel have settled in for the summer, but the adventure isn't over yet. The author of the 3 journals arrives in town, as well as an old friend many like to call Bill Cipher. Weird Mageddon awaits. What a season! First of all, did you prefer this to season 1 or not?
Oh, I thought this was a huge improvement.
I would say that as well. Even though season 1 wasn't bad, this one was just another level. It was really, really great. What do we like? I've got another extensive list of notes from the 7 episodes we watched.
I have less notes than
I have so many.
time.
3. I spent my afternoon yesterday binging like 3 hours of Gravity Falls. It was not a waste of an afternoon. I don't care what you say. I've just got some funny quotes, funny things I noticed, some questions as usual, and some facts as well, which is just lovely. I'm gonna go through these. And we can sort of I'll go through the good ones and we can sort of discuss them. That will fill up the episode for us. First of all, I don't know if you noticed this at the start of. Did you watch Into the Bunker?
Yes, I did.
At the start of one, why is Wendy's bra just casually out on her bed, even when she's got her friend around? That's just a horrible thing to do. And even when you know that friend has a crush on you, you don't do that. That is not cool, Wendy. Later on, when they're about to go into the bunker, Mabel says, Mabel says, when there's a mystery, you can count on your sistery. That's a great quote.
Oh, yeah, and then Sue tries to come up with another rhyme to go along with that.
When you need a Seuss. Just the jokes do get so much better in this season. Dip is very mature for his age when he said, "Oh look, I've just given up on Wendy because I know nothing's gonna happen between us." That's very mature. Also, he's half Wendy's height, which is just not nice.
Yeah, even though
in
like,
the bunker itself, right?
Even though there's like only a 2 to 3 year age gap between them, Wendy's like a full like a foot and a half taller than him.
If Dip is like normal kid height, if he's like, let's say 5 feet, she's like 10 feet tall. she's better suited to Gru than to Dipper. Yeah, when Seuss in the bunker, when he opened the weapons cupboard, he found a Smez dispenser. Not Pez, it's Smez. Just funny. Mabel, they were saying, "Oh, this bunker's so creepy," and then Mabel says, "Not as creepy as Dipper's internet history." That's just great.
Yeah, well,
When
he's
they
supposed to be like
find,
12.
yeah. um. Oh, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah.
You have a lot
So
to say
I'm
about
just
this show.
yes, I do. This is the first spoiler I'm about to say here, so just be warned, mister. Right. So the fake author who lived in the bunker, the guy who pretended to be the author but wasn't, when he was leading Dipper and Wendy around, I was just thinking, like, would they not be suspicious of an old man living underground, like, at all? He's like, oh, come and follow me into my mysterious laboratory.
Dipper's been reading the journals for like so long that he just trusts the author no matter what he'd say.
Yeah, and then this is the note. It's not something for me to say now. It was basically my thoughts at the time. It says, "Oh right, he's a shapeshifter. Nice plot twist." This a fan opinion because I've been watching Gravity Falls videos. Most fans seem to say that not what he seems was the best episode of the show. That's the one where like the FBI are like Stan is a bad person, and they're like, no, he's not a bad person, but he did steal all the chemicals.
I wouldn't say that.
It was good, and I think the main reason people say it's the best episode of the show is because of the last like 5 minutes when they're like in the portal, because that part was fantastic. But the rest of the episode was kind of just a slow trek towards the final part of it, which was great. But I wouldn't say it's the best episode of the show. The next, A Tale of Two Stands, because it didn't have any Dipper and Mabel, but it was still good. Weird Mageddon, gotta say, was great, but we'll get onto that later. One of Stan's alternate names that they that they saw on all his passports was Andrew 8-Ball Alcatraz, which is just a fantastic name. I just love that. Seuss had a little mini character arc in that episode of he's really loyal to Stan in like season 1, and then in season 2 he says, sorry Stan, I've got to protect the kids. Okay, looking the show up, J.K. Simmons, who you may know as J. Jonah Jameson from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, what a masterpiece, God. He plays Stanford. He plays the author of the journals, which it's just great. When they were saying, okay, we're going to tell our life story here, Seuss wants this. He said he wanted their backstories to match his fan fiction that he made.
Wait, but also that must mean that Seuss knew all along.
Yeah, it must know, or maybe it's just just the one Stanley's backstory. Not Stanley, the Marvel guy. I mean Stanley Pines.
Yeah.
My next note says Gravity Falls prequel series, please. Which is basically all the stuff that they rushed through in that episode of Stanford, like studying the town and teaming up with Old Man McGucket and studying just everything. That would have been a great show. And then more stuff in the backstory episode. Baby shapeshifter, Schmebulock, McGucket, the Get 'em guy, the one-eyed lady, one-eye Susan, and the cop voiced by Kevin Michael Richardson, and the weird reporter guy who talks like this.
Bodacious T.
Yeah, Bodacious T. When he had his punk haircut, that was crack-a-lacking. When it's talking about Stanley, when he opened the Mystery Shack, it was originally called the Murder Hut and later renamed the Mystery Shack. In the next episode, Dipper and Mabel versus the future, Seuss was talking about the future's coming for all of us. He said, in 1 week, my grandma will finally let me eat crackers on my bed. I love Seuss's character so much. I'm just going to skip through a few of these. Mabel said high school is some sort of musical, obviously leaning towards the masterpiece of a trilogy, High School Musical, of course. In episode 17, Dipper had the best day of his life while Mabel had the worst day of hers. That's pretty neat. The weirdness bubble showed. Oh, this is Weird Mageddon now. So when they were driving through the bubbles of weirdness, it showed Anime, Dipper, and Wendy, and the voice the the voice actors of Dipper and Wendy dressed up as their characters. And then there's a quote here from the episode where they did like the trial in Mabel's prison.
Yeah.
It says one of Dipper's quotes there, which I think was just lovely. You can't force someone to love you. Best thing you can do is try to become someone worthy of loving. And he does. There's another quote there later on as well, which is great. The yes, definitely, absolutely guy is in Mabel's prison. Duck Detective was at the trial. Another quote is, for another one from Dipper actually, is real life stinks sometimes, I'm not going to lie. But there's a better way to get through it than denial, and that's with help from people who care about you. And then he says to Mabel, we've travelled to heck and back to get you, which I just noted down because it's hecking funny.
Can't be saying hell, can they?
No, it's a Disney. It's a. Oh, what was it the creator described it as? It's a funny show filled with silly jokes for kids, something like that. Rumble McSkirmish, the video game wrestler, he turned to Humble McSkirmish during Weird Mageddon. I've got a question for you, which is for the raised by Seuss, but this is a question for you, host one. Are there actually gun swords in anime? Because Seuss was saying, I watch a lot of anime and gun swords are pretty sick. Because you're the anime expert, aren't you? You're the guy to ask about those Japanese cartoons.
Yes, there is a genre that has a lot of gun swords in it.
What genre? I would like to see that.
It's called mecha anime. I haven't watched a lot of them. The only one I've watched from that is Evangelion.
Right. We might stick that on the list if it's on Netflix. Because remember, we are cheapskates.
It is on Netflix.
McGucket, when he was building the Shacktron, he said, this should turn out better than my other inventions. But his other inventions worked perfectly. Like, he built the portal, he built the Gobblewonker. He has no reason to complain that his inventions are bad. They are wonderful. And then I have one more note after this, and then we can talk about negatives. Oh man, there aren't any negatives.
I haven't even spoken about my notes at all.
I'll let you talk in a minute. This is my time to shine, boy.
Yeah, I know. You really love this show, don't you?
I do. It's my favorite TV show. Right. This my last note, and then I've written like a mini conclusion as well to say at the end of this this recording session. This last note says, hot take, but I prefer Stan's sacrifice in this to Iron Man's in Endgame. What do you think of that?
That does sound like a hot take.
That's a spicy meatball.
Yeah. I'd say both.
Because
are like they're both as good as each other.
The thing is, Stan. People say, "Well, Stan didn't die." But Stan didn't know he wasn't going to die. He's literally made the option to destroy his own mind, and just destroy Bill. He didn't know he was going to survive or get his memory back. Iron Man didn't. Iron Man knew he was going to die. Stan, he thought he was going to die and was still willing to put his life at risk in order to save the town, in order to save his family, which I think is just wonderful. And although you do, in the MCU, have a 22 movie build up to Endgame, and this is like 2 seasons of a TV show, this still was much more rewarding for me than the Iron Man sacrifice. I've still never cried at a movie or TV show or video game. I'm soulless. Okay, what did you like or what did you hate?
Okay.
If you hate anything about this, if you don't like anything, if there's anything you don't like about this show, I'll crucify you for it.
No, there is some stuff I don't like about this.
Okay.
I hate.
Go on.
I hate Dipper and Wendy's whole thing. I hate that so much.
Wait, you hate like their relationship, the fact that
No, I mean, yeah, that's pretty common. But like, I hate what happens as a result of it.
what you mean nothing, or they swap
no,
hats.
as
That's it.
in, it's very cringe.
How though? I don't understand what you mean.
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. But
It's just very cliche, is it? It's like,
yeah,
oh,
but yeah,
I like this girl, but
extremely.
she's old. She's an old lady.
And yeah,
The scene where like Wendy was saying, oh, if we could ask Mabel to make you older, then maybe you and I could be together. I actually thought that was her. I didn't realize it was like a setup.
Oh, I knew it
Which
wasn't her.
made me really sad.
I knew it wasn't her.
I realized it the same moment Dipper did, I'm pretty sure.
No, I realized it even before that. No, because it's obvious it wasn't her. It's obvious it wasn't her, because Bill Cipher said before that was his most diabolical trap ever. So I was like, yeah, this definitely isn't Wendy. Wendy would never do this.
What, do you have any other negatives that I can slaughter you for?
There's still so much filler.
I put together a little list of just the story episodes. I think it was a pretty solid list.
And
did you watch any of the filler or not?
I didn't.
Or there's just loads in the season.
Didn't, but and then in Weird-Mageddon they try to like try making the filler canon by putting all the filler characters into
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't have a big problem with that. Like
I have
the
a
big
massive
bear
problem with that.
guy in the bear from Dipper versus Manliness was made a nice appearance, which is pretty cool. And it is canon, it's just not like the main story. If they had seasons made up. Oh yeah, I realized something else. I realized something that makes me so happy.
What?
So there's 4 episodes in season 1 that make up the main story. That's the first episode and the 3 Gideon episodes. So that's like an hour and a half in total. Then at the start of season 2, you have Into the Bunker, Tale of Two Stands, Not What He Seems, and Dipper and Mabel versus the Future. That's another 4 episodes. So that's an hour and 30, an hour and 30. Weird-Mageddon on Disney Plus is 4 episodes. That's an hour and 30. They make a trilogy of films, and each one is an hour and 30. It's just... Yes. All the story in Gravity Falls makes a perfect trilogy. Fantastic. I'm very happy with that.
Well, so before you said that it was the only thing that made those episodes canon was the fact that they appeared in Weird-Mageddon.
Yes, that's probably true. Do you think one thing I would have changed with this is the final battle? Even though I love Stan's sacrifice, they 100% should have gone with like the Zodiac thing, where you have all the important characters of the show standing in a circle, because that would have been so much more symbolic. Even though Stan's sacrifice was wonderful, I much would have preferred if they defeated Bill like by uniting everyone, the power of friendship. Yeah, that I would have preferred that. And it was so close, and then Stanford had to correct Stanley's grammar. Honestly.
Okay.
Well,
so I found some I mean, I didn't find a lot because I don't. This might not be, but I did find some similarities to the show Naruto.
Right, let's go through it.
Okay, there were only a couple.
Okay.
But as someone who's watched it, maybe it's just the fact that I've watched it recently, and then it kind of went over into me watching this, or maybe
let's just talk about it. Let's just go.
Okay. These similarities are only in Weird-Mageddon 2.
Oh wow,
okay. With the bubble.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Mabel's bubble world is similar to what the villain in Naruto's his like main plan. In Naruto, the villain's main plan is to put everyone inside a dream world where all their like dreams and fantasies are real.
Where your dreams come true, it's Disney World.
And that's kind of similar to Mabel's bubble
It is very
world.
similar. It's exactly what she wanted, and she didn't want to leave. That was a great episode. That episode was much better than I remember watching it originally.
Dipper in Weird Mageddon 2 reminded me of
Dippy Fresh.
Dippy.
Yeah, best character in the show.
It kind of reminded me of Naruto the character in a way.
Naruto himself.
Yeah, because so there's this thing that Naruto sometimes does.
He runs with his hands behind his back.
No, some people have called this the talk no jutsu, where basically he makes like a big speech to a villain, and then the villain turns good.
What, does that happen like every season or something?
No, it happens all the time. It happened 4 or 5 separate times.
Wow. That's very similar to the trope in The Flash, where he's like, I'm not fast enough. Iris says, "Run, Barry, run." He's I'm fast now.
And Dipper's speech to both Gideon and Mabel, it's structured in the exact same way that Naruto's speeches are.
Just fantastic. It works though. It does work.
It does work. It works in both shows, I think.
Yeah. Well, I need to watch Naruto to know, but I'm not willing to watch like 10 seasons of 3 shows.
Once you start, you can't stop until you finish.
You can't stop. Well, is there anything you would have changed?
I probably would have. I probably would have also changed how they defeated Bill, because like you said, Stanley's sacrifice was good, but yeah, I think they should have done it with the Zodiac sign as well.
Well, just to see Pacifica and Mabel holding hands was very wholesome indeed.
And then
speaking of wholesome, before we do our actually no, I'll do this after we've done the out of 10 rankings, because this will be a fantastic way to end the episode.
No,
my little speech I've written.
I can't really. All in all, this was a really good show. I can't really find anything else that I disliked about it.
Are we going to rate just the season or rate the entire show out of 10 here?
Let's rate the season and then let's rate the entire show.
Okay, so what would you give the season? I got my calculator because I can't do brain.
Okay. Okay, so last time I gave this show a 5.5. Last time I gave season 1 a 5.5.
Yeah.
I would give this a 9 out of 10.
Wow, okay. I would probably give it a 9 as well, which means that gets a absolutely solid 18 out of 20. That is just fantastic. Didn't actually need my calculator there. I'm big brain now.
Okay.
I'm a big boy.
Okay, so we should add the scores from the last season.
Wait, so season 1 got like 14.5, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then this one got 18, so that's 32.5 out of 40. And then if we half that, which gives us 16.25 out of 20, that is not bad. 16, like it's almost 16 and a half. Let's round that down to 16 out of 20. That's pretty solid. That's a pretty good show. Which gives it an. If you want to make that 8 out of 10, that 8 out of 10 is the show. Just great. Right. Speaking of wholesome, I said this. Right. Prepare to be moved to tears. This
you really
4 lines.
You really gonna wait? Is this a quote from the show?
No. This is something I wrote because I was so heartwarmed after I finished the program that I wrote this.
Okay.
This little speech there. So this says, "What a show!
Oh, no.
4 pines, 2 seasons, 1 massive adventure. Thank you, Disney. Even if you did make the Star Wars sequel trilogy."
Oh my god.
Autographs later. I just love Gravity Falls. Such a great show. Oh man, so what's next week? Shrek. Are we gonna slot Weathering with You in between Shrek and Batman Ninja?
I think we are. Because
okay.
it's arriving. It's arriving tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you're looking forward to. We should probably put. I might, instead of Shrek, we'll put something live action in between because you've done a lot of animated stuff. Everything's been animated so far.
Yeah, it
So
has
I'm just going to
been.
go on the watch list. I'll take Boyhood off. Actually, no, I'll just tick off Gravity Falls. Hang on, where's the tick emoji? There's the tick emoji. So Boyhood's still on the list, but it's not ticked. What's the next live action thing? Oh, you're in for a treat, my friend. Next live action on the list is Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh. Okay, so next week, X-Men First Class. This is it on Disney Plus? Because they've got
No,
some X-Men movies on there.
no, it isn't. I checked.
I got it on disc if you want to watch it, or this might be on Sky Cinema. I haven't got that, but I'm pretty sure you have.
Yeah, I do. Wait. We've got after Batman Ninja, we got Sword Art Online, then A Silent
Oh,
Voice, and then Angel
I
Beats.
put on this list. I've got Pirates of the Caribbean in between Sword Art Online and A Silent Voice, because that's probably going to be around the time we binged the trilogy, which I'm really looking forward to. I really hope you like that, but you probably won't. But yeah, we'll have a definite list, and if whatever comes out will come out. But X-Men First Class is the plan for now. It's a really good movie. Yeah, that's all I'll say for now without giving too much away, because it is good. Right, so we're going to put X-Men First Class in between. We're going to do that after this, and then we'll do Weathering with You, then Batman Ninja, then Sword Art Online Season 1, then the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, which is the best thing ever made, as I tell my friend every single day. Then The Silent Voice, Angel Beats, Shrek, The Bad Education Christmas Special, Attack on Titan Season 1, Man of Steel, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, then your suggestions. What a fun ride this will be. We've only just begun, my friend. We've got to the end of the first paragraph. Look at that. We're there. We're ready to start the next section, the next season, the next part, whatever you want to call it. We are ready to go. I'll see you next time.